And we're live. Well, hello there and welcome. Just readjust my mic. Just make sure. Hello? I think that's better. That sounds better to me. Well, hello and welcome if you're watching this on the replay. Pardon the lighting, I'm trying new lighting, which is why it's brighter and you can see me. A glass of cola in my favourite Cyberman mug cup. Anyway, usual housekeeping for those of you who are watching back on the live stream. Obviously keep it clean, keep it civil, keep it friendly. This is my usual weekly live stream. Whether or not we get any viewers, I don't know. This usually, when I don't, it turns into just a random ramble, which can be just as much fun. Yes, just gonna fiddle about with the lighting a bit. It's a lot brighter today. A lot brighter than usual. As I say, that might be a bit better. You can see me better anyway. So yeah, that's got my fan on behind me. It's quite warm in here. So yeah, I'm live and looking forward to speaking with you if you join me. As I say, I do this once a week, and this week I've actually managed to move the chat screen onto this camera, onto this screen. I've finally figured it all out. So hopefully it will all pan out. So yeah. So this is what, week 7 of a live stream, week 7, and I'm quite enjoying them. As I say, when it doesn't exactly work according to plan, it turns into a vlog. So chances are this could turn into a vlog. Updates for you. Managed to find someone to play the role of Arundel in Chapter 7 of the Lord of War and Heartache, so I'm very happy about that. Very happy indeed. Sorry, I'm just looking at my other screen because I've got some other bits and pieces going on in the background. So, yeah, very excited about that. Chapter 7 will now finally appear as it was meant to, with 7. I wanted 7 characters for Chapter 7. That was my goal. It did drop down to 6. However, after a bit of searching and what's the word? I don't want to say desperation, because I think that is entirely the wrong word. But with a bit of tenacity and a bit of help from the community, I managed to find someone to take on the role. So I'm very, very happy with the situation. Yeah, so what else? It is difficult when you do these live streams, because you never know what's going to happen. Got my Three Peaks t-shirt on today. you can't really see it because it's dark. It's a good job I'm not doing green screen. But yeah, it's got Scafell Pike, Snowdon and Ben Nevis, the three tallest peaks in Britain. So Scafell Pike is the tallest peak in England. It's not a mountain. England doesn't actually have mountains. We have hills and peaks. Snowdon and Ben Nevis, as you will be aware if you're from Wales and Scotland, are mountains, obviously. See, I can make anything work with my, even my t-shirt is a talking point. In fact, I have a lot of t-shirts like that. I do love t-shirts. Well, I prefer them over shirts, to be honest with you. Always been a t-shirt person. I don't mind collared t-shirts. I will wear collared t-shirts. But, I love my t-shirts. Whenever I go to a comic book convention, I always, with any uncertainty, come back with some t-shirts of some sort. A lot of them are ones that are imported from America, so by buying them at conventions, I actually save on import costs because that's already been paid for by the people selling them. So so I do miss the convention circuit. I really do. I've got my steampunk costume underway. It is literally there. I just need to get a shirt and tie for it. I've got the top hat, I've got the jacket and the waistcoat. I just wear a regular pair of my trousers with it, and act as the dapper chap, really. I've got the medals as well for the steampunk side of things. It is a steampunk Time Lord. I am doing a steampunk Time Lord. I actually have several sonic screwdrivers. I am trying to make my own, but I may just stick using the 12th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, unless I can find one that looks a bit more steampunk in its appearance. I'm thinking about it, or I'm always thinking about it, always planning, always thinking. So yeah. Yeah, I do miss it. I also want to get back into the Fallout cosplay. What I tend to do is Fallout New Vegas, because obviously that is perhaps the most popular game in the franchise, Fallout New Vegas. And I love Fallout 4. Don't get me wrong, I love Fallout 4. But I think New Vegas is probably the closest in its self-awareness and sense of humour to the original Fallout and Fallout 2. I think it's because obviously the people that worked on it in Obsidian were originally part of Black Isle anyway, so a lot of the concepts they used in New Vegas, like Caesar's Legion, for example, were going to be in the project codenamed Van Buren, which was going to be the original Fallout 3, and it was going to be set in Nevada. Basically they took the concept of what was going to be the original Fallout 3 and turned it into Fallout New Vegas, which in my opinion was a genius move, absolutely genius move. So I think Fallout New Vegas is perhaps, out of all of them, my all-time favourite game. I wish it had a continue beyond the ending. I know there is a mod where you can continue beyond the ending, but I think it's perfect that it ends like that. Fallout 3, I like the fact that they brought in the extra not mods, I beg your pardon, the extra downloadable content. That made it good. And as I say, I love Fallout 4, but I do have Fallout 76. But to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Fallout 76. I haven't really played it that often. I found it very disappointing for the amount of money I paid for it. So, but yeah, New Vegas is my favourite Fallout game in the entire franchise. I would love for them. I would absolutely love for them to do a game set in another part of the world. In fact, I'd love them to do one set in the UK. I think that would be brilliant. Fallout UK or something like that. I mean, we are a big enough country that you could literally make an entire map. You know, because the UK, you could probably fit into one of the states of America. I know you can fit it in several times over. So, in all honesty, I think you could make an entire game where you have to go around the whole of Great Britain and even perhaps Ireland, you know. So something like, you know, Fallout Britain or something like that would be absolutely amazing. I think, yeah, because you know you could have the, I'm going to say the word lone wanderer, like the courier, shall we say, to stick to the Fallout New Vegas analogy, because obviously we have courier services over here. I think it would be amazing to sort of go around the ruins of. We have a lot of bunkers left over from World War II and the Cold War anyway, so it's always easy to utilise different situations, you know, different locations and things. I mean, Dover Castle on the Kent coast in the county I live in, Kent, has tunnels underneath it. I mean, you've got Annex, Bastion, Casemate, Dumpy, and then three are confirmed, 3 are legendary. So you've got Annex, which is the hospital level, Casemate, which is the communications level, and Dumpy, according to the historian I went on a tour around Dumpy level at Dover Castle, and apparently it's a complete fantasy that Dumpy stands for Deep Underground Military Position Yellow. According to him, there's no records of it ever being referred to as such. Then why, when English Heritage had their model of the tunnels back in the 1990s, was Dumpy level always coloured yellow? Annex was red, Casemate was green, Dumpy was yellow. Originally it was only the Casemate level that was open to the public to tour. Then they did up the hospital level and opened that up. So yeah, Dumpy is allegedly it's what I call the Cold War level. It took me 26 years to get down there. 26 years, and it cost me about £45 for a ticket. It was very expensive, but it does include refreshments, and of course pays towards the insurance, because obviously it's a set of tunnels that aren't usually open to the public. It's only to English Heritage members and is a tour only. So yeah, so you've got Annex, Casemate and Dumpy, and then of course you've got the 3 mythical levels, as I will refer to them. Again, the historian that took us around the tunnels was very clear that these tunnels don't actually exist. There's allegedly Bastion, which is supposed to sit in between Annex and the Casemate. Apparently there's no evidence of Bastion level. And beneath Dumpy, there's supposed to be Esplanade and Foundation, which again allegedly don't exist. There doesn't appear to be any proof that they exist, but it would fit in with the A, B, C, D, E, F initials. So you've got A, Annex, B, Bastion, C, Casement. You get the idea. You get the idea. And this all feeds into my hope for a Fallout game set in the United Kingdom, or in Britain and Ireland, or however you wish to see it. Because there are old nuclear bunkers and tunnels and bases all over the country which would be perfect analogues for the game. You've got Greenham Common, which was during the 50s to the 90s, where a lot of the American nuclear bombers were based. It was also where a lot of the campaign for nuclear disarmament people protested. So that would, and it's abandoned. So it almost feels. I've seen video footage of it. I've never been there myself, but I've seen video footage of it. And the first thing that always comes to my head, because I love watching urban exploration. Two of my favourite channels are IKS Exploration and Hell on Earth. I love Hell on Earth. Not for the kids. Hell on Earth is definitely not for the kids. The banter they have on there is very close to the knuckle. I'm sure they're lovely chaps, but don't let the kids watch it. IKS is alright. I mean, they throw in a bit of history as well, I'm not an urban explorer myself, but I have an interest in history. I love the idea of abandoned places because of Fallout. I mean, when you think about it, as well as being a post-apocalyptic survival game, Fallout itself is kind of like urban exploration, because obviously you're having to go in and out of buildings to complete quests and missions, or you're just going into buildings to find comic books to build up your perks, or food, stuff to build your settlement up with. It all adds up at the end of the day. So I definitely think a Fallout game set outside of America would be very good. I mean, I think there would be a lot of potential, especially in Britain, especially for one set here, because I think it would be so unique. I mean, we have proper castles, medieval castles, so you could have the protagonist having to go in to find lost treasures or something like that. We've got the big museums. You could go into, be sent to the ruins of the British Museum to look for what's left of the Rosetta Stone, for example. This is what I'd love to see if they ever actually announced a Fallout game in the franchise set somewhere else. And I think there's just so much potential. I mean, they could do one in Europe as well, set one in Central Europe or France or Spain. It's so. This is what I don't get. Why? I can understand why the games are all set in America, because obviously that's how the story started. But there are so many other places. I mean, Fallout Australia, even, for example. And there's just so much potential for this franchise, for that franchise, that I just think, I'm not going to say they're wasting the potential, because they're not. I mean, okay, granted, Fallout 4, I use a lot of mods, because there's a lot about Fallout 4 that, for me personally, it lacks without mods. You know, I like to use mods because I think, I don't use cheat mods. I do not use cheat mods. I will tell you that now, because I personally am not a fan of cheating in video games. But what I do like are mods that add the extra element to the game. So, you know, things like in Fallout 4, when you're building your settlement, extra furniture, extra defences or defence options. What else have I used? Extra walls. You know, can build proper houses instead of the sort of huts and things like that. And I mean, I had to take Steam off my laptop because it was just running my laptop down. I do have Fallout 4 on my PS4, but I haven't really played my PS4 lately. And when I have, it's mainly been Overwatch, and even though I haven't played Overwatch that much either, and Soul Calibur 6. I absolutely love the Soul Calibur franchise. I had a original Xbox back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and Soul Calibur 2 was my first game in the franchise that I owned, and I missed out on Soul Calibur 3, but obviously have 4 and 5 for the PS3. No, I beg your pardon, 4 on the PS3, 5 on the PS4, and 6 on the PS4. And I kind of wish, in a way, you could, they do a bit more for PlayStation, for Soul Calibur 6. There's again, like with Soul Calibur 5, I feel they kind of shortchanged me on some of the DLC for it. I think there's a lot of stuff there that's missing that they do need to put in. That's really my only complaint. I think the storyline is pretty good for that part of the game, and I love the excuse me, drop of the old cola. You know, wet the whistle, as the saying goes. So yeah, video gaming wise as well, I've got into emulators. I will be honest, I've got into emulators, and I'm playing a lot of Super Mario Land 2 at the moment. 6 Gold, which I never had on the Game Boy, and I love it, absolutely love it. It's so much fun. There's a lot of difficult levels. It's one of the hardest Mario games I've ever played, in fact. And I really ought to do a stream one day of these games that I've got. I've been playing Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening again on my Game Boy, because I've still got all my Game Boys. Game Boy Pocket Color, Game Boy Color. I found my Game Boy Advanced. I never had an SP. My cousin had an SP, but I've got the Advanced. What else have I got? A couple of DSs, a 3DS, and of course I've got the Switch as well. And I've got the Switch version of Link's Awakening as well, which surprisingly is a lot harder than the original game. It's a lot harder to play. I don't know what they've done to it. It's still a lot of fun though. Still a lot of fun. You know, but and of course, for nostalgia's sake, I do have Pokemon I have Pokemon Sword. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm first generation Pokemon. Pokemon Red was the very first game I had. I missed out on Ruby. I had Gold. I've got Gold on Game Boy Color. I've got Red. I didn't have Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't have Fire Red or Leaf Green, and I didn't have X and Y. I've got black and white. I've got both black and white. Didn't get Sun and Moon, but I've got Pokemon Sword. And that is very interesting because obviously being first generation and coming and then starting to pick it up again from the 8th generation, it's very interesting because the two, there's so many similarities, yet there's so much that's different from the very first game. Because I got the red version for Christmas back in about 1996, and I was hooked. I mean, I was a big Pokemon fan when I was really young. I mean, I was about 10 or 11 when it came out, 1984. I was about 11 when I got my copy of Pokemon Red, and yeah, I mean, I had all the cards, the collectible cards. So I was pretty into the game. I play more. I'm more of a casual player now for that game. I started playing. I've also started playing on the Switch. Cadence of Hyrule, and that is such a fun game because it's rhythm based, so you have to move in time to the rhythm, and it's so complicated, but it's so much fun as well, because it's the challenge of getting the rhythm just right. Tapping at the right time to move Link or Zelda. I mean, you can play as both. You can actually play as Link or Zelda. I'll be very honest. I do find that Link is, and this isn't any reflection on Zelda as a character, because obviously she is a very important character in the whole series. I mean, obviously her name is in the title, Legend of Zelda. Anyway, the thing is, the combat capabilities of Link are better than Zelda, because obviously he has a sword, but she only has like a dagger. So whereas he's got a bit of distance between him and the enemies, you have to get Zelda in quite close to actually make any impact in the game against the enemies. So with playing as Zelda, I find personally, you're more prone to losing your life quicker because you haven't got the distance of the sword. You've only got a short dagger, which which complicates things. I mean, you still get the shield and all that for Link. I mean, you get all the basics that's always been there in the game from day one, really, since the very first Legend of Zelda game came out, and I love it, to be honest with you. Absolutely love it. I mean, I'm a bit of a video game buff anyway, but because of these things I've discovered, these sort of emulator things, I've started playing video games that I never had when I was younger. As I said earlier, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, which is a lot of fun, and of course the original Final Fantasy, which I'm still trying to get my head around because I'm finding that quite difficult to play. I've still got to try and work out how to upgrade my character, level up my characters. And I mean, I play as one. I have a team of one of each. The fighter, the thief. I usually go for the red mage and the white mage, or the black mage and the white mage, because obviously the white mage is healing. It seems to have a lot of healing magic in her. Obviously the black mage is fire magic, and the red mage, as Brental Floss sings in his song The Ballad of the Mages, he's like the jack of all trades, really. If you love video games, I recommend trying to hide my fan up there. Anyway, Brental Floss, I recommend you go and see his channel. He's been going a lot longer than I have. He's been going for years, in fact. And he does a lot of parody songs based around video games. And that's how I learned about a lot of these games that I've only just started playing myself. Including Earthbound. I've discovered the joys of Earthbound. And oh my god, the humour in that game is unbelievable. It's amazing. If you've got a Switch and it's available on the Switch, I haven't found it yet. I hope they will put it on the Switch. If it's on the Switch in America, I recommend you download it, because I've played it through this other system on my computer, and it is one of the most fun games I've ever played. It's one of those self-aware games. It kind of knows what it's about. It knows. It's like the Deadpool of video games. It knows it's a video game, and it will respond knowing it's a video game. But yeah, if you get a chance to play Earthbound, play it. I certainly wasn't I read so much hype about it. I heard so much hype about it, and I thought, what have I got to lose? What have I got to lose? And they're absolutely right. They are absolutely right. And of course, I mean, obviously, I love the modern games as well. The other Bethesda game I love, and this will always be my biggest video game love, is Skyrim. I mean, I played Oblivion before, and I actually got Morrowind after I got Skyrim in the Elder Scrolls. Never played Arena, and never played the first Elder Scrolls game, which I can't remember the title. Or was Arena the first one? Anyway, no matter. I didn't play the first two. I've never played the first two Elder Scrolls games. Morrowind, I downloaded through Steam, and to be honest with you, I think if I downloaded it when it first came, or if I purchased it when it first came out, I wouldn't have known any different. But considering I'd played Oblivion and then Skyrim before I played Morrowind, I'll be honest, I personally was a little disappointed with Morrowind. No offence to those who love that game, because I'm sure there are people out there who absolutely adore Morrowind. But there was just something about it that, because I'd already experienced the two games that came after it, because I actually bought Oblivion when it first came out, as I did with Skyrim, and Morrowind, I mean, I think it was the graphics more than anything. I think because it's an older game, it just, I guess I'm picky really, because it just didn't really personally sit to my these are just my opinions, of course. I don't have any experience of gaming reviews or anything like that. This is just me sitting here talking to a camera, talking into a microphone, and just giving you my personal opinions, really. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Morrowind. I found its story to be a bit convoluted for my personal tastes. I think out of all of them, Skyrim will always be my favourite. Not just because of the fact it's got dragons in it. I think it was because they fixed a lot of things that fell flat with Oblivion, especially like the levelling up and the perks. I always found Oblivion to be very difficult to level up and select the perks. That was probably my one big issue with Oblivion. But Skyrim, for me, is the definitive. I've never played Elder Scrolls Online. Never played Elder Scrolls Online. I think Overwatch is really the only game I have played online, and that's rare. I've had the game since about 6 months after it came out. I got it for Christmas one year, the year it came out, and I'm still only level 26. I don't play it enough that I've grown. I mean, there are people out there who've had it as long as I have, and they're probably something like level 1000 or something ridiculous like that. I mean, I know there's some people who play it almost every day. Now, I don't play video games every day. I'd like to, but I don't. But yeah, I mean, Elder Scrolls is probably Skyrim is definitely my favourite game of all in the franchise. I'm sure when Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that's called, I heard allegedly that I mean, I've heard this through Twitter. Excuse me, my back always gets to this point in the proceedings when my back starts to, so I have to just sit up a little bit straight to just sort of straighten it out. Anyway, I mean, the rumor mill that I heard through Twitter was that Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be called Valenwood. Now, it's all gone very quiet, of course, so obviously everything I read on social media is taken with a huge pinch of salt. A huge pinch of salt. I mean, I don't go by anything until I hear it officially from Bethesda, through their official channels, whether it's at E3 or their website. So I'm not going to get excited over Elder Scrolls 6 or anything until I see something official. But I am excited for when they do officially announce it. So I think it'll be. And now we've got the new 5th gen consoles. I haven't got a PS5 yet. Excuse me, I'm just going to scratch my back. Not the most professional thing to do on a live stream, but needs must when you have an itch. Anyway, I'm waiting for official announcements, and I think a lot of people are, to be honest with you. I mean, it's easy to speculate and make stuff up for video games. I mean, I think a lot of the thing is, since all this hype about Cyberpunk 2077, I think companies are going to be a lot more careful. I mean, I understand that it was the fans that kept saying, you've got to bring it out. I've never played Cyberpunk 2077. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one game or one game franchise where 2077 holds any significance, and I've already spoken about it this evening, and that's Fallout, because it was because obviously the war that obviously sets off the chain of events for the Fallout franchise takes place on the 23rd of October 2077. Hello Mark, hello, welcome indeed. Yeah, I've just been chatting, I've just been talking video games. So yeah, talking about my favourite video games, things like that. Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Mario, Zelda, anything retro or modern, it's doing all right at the moment. So yeah, it's a very different chat tonight, because I'm talking about some things I don't really talk about very often. But yeah, I am a video gamer. I love gaming. I used to do tabletop wargaming. I used to do Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I mean, you can see the books. I can't get this camera right. Oh, don't worry about it, Jesse. Welcome indeed. I've been talking video games this evening, so I was just getting on to my former hobby of tabletop wargaming. In fact, I was trying to. I can't get because obviously the camera puts me in reverse. I can't. I'm trying to point to the books behind me, but it's. Well, this is it. I'm thinking of doing some. I am thinking of doing some ASMR video gaming. This technically isn't. I never do my live streams as ASMR, if anything. These are usually just general chit chat and questions and answer sessions. So the previous 6 have always ended up talking about Lord of War and Heartache, but if I can keep this one on track, I think I can, because obviously that is my pet project, but I've got other things I want to talk about. And as I say, I was trying to talk about these books behind me. It says trying to surreptitiously point them with his thumb. Yeah, I mean, I used to do Warhammer Fantasy. I had a Dwarfs army. I had something like a 3,000 points Dwarfs army, and I was absolutely livid when Age of Sigmar started. I have not got an Age of Sigmar army. I will state this now. I will not. The fact that I've got a 3,000 point dwarf army, which is now obsolete, infuriates me completely. They should have just gone on to the 9th age. I know Sigmar has been around for quite a while now, but I am one of those players that are still reeling about it to this day. Absolutely reeling about it. But 40k player. Not too sure about the their plans with the Space Marines and the Primaris Space Marines. I like the concept, but yeah, I'm a Chaos player anyway. I'm Warriors, Traitor Legion. I've got a couple of Rhinos that I'm repainting, and a Greater Demon of Nurgle that I've got to repaint as well for that game. But that's a different story. But yeah, tabletop wargaming I used to do quite a bit. I mean, I've got a 5,000 point Space Orc army with a Stomper. For any of you watching this replay back who are interested in Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy. So yeah, I've got a Stomper, couple of battle wagons. A full squad of 10. Well, I could split them into 2 looters, burner boys, rocket boys. I can do the Green Tide in Apocalypse games. I've got that many orc boys in my army. You know, I used to play it a lot. I mean, I've got enough models that I can actually repaint them. You know, I can remove the original paint and just repaint them. That's how big my collection of models is. So I don't need to spend any money really on miniatures. What else? You know, I've got loads of things. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. You carry on. Thank you for dropping by. I'm just gonna carry on and chat away 19 to the dozen, which I can do quite easily. So yeah, I've got various hobbies. I mean, you know, I'm a railway modeller, and you know, I make models and things like that. So always got something on the go. Always got something. Well, I should have something on the go as much as I can. Really, I spend a lot too much time in front of my computer, but that's my burden to bear. You know, that's you know, these things happen. I think I'm just too driven really by social media than anything else. I'm very creative in more ways than one. So it. Sorry, just had a message come through. That's all. Lose my train of thought. Model making. Love model making. But Ronan, hello, sir. Good evening. I've been chatting away 19 to the dozen about video games, model making. Had a very quick, brief update at the beginning about Lord of War and Heartache. So I'm trying to keep off that because I've literally spent the last 6 weeks during my live streams talking about that, and I think people do get bored in a way. But as I say, just a quick update on that for those of you who are just joining. I did manage to find someone to play the role of Arundel in. See, I got the name. Okay, I will tell you this story because some of the names I come up with, I get the names from many places, and quite literally this came from a place in Sussex. Was it Surrey? But Arundel, there's a place in Britain called Arundel, and I thought that sounds like a good name. It sounds elvish. It sounds almost elven. I mean, Arundel herself is a vampire, not an elf. I will say that now. She is a vampire, not an elf. But yeah, so you know, it's amazing where you find inspiration for names and ideas for these things. A lot of them are just names I've had floating around my notes for years. So, but you know, I always come up with new. Oh, thank you. Yes. You know, it is nice to discuss it. I know I understand that people do get bored about me talking about it all the time, but I am truly passionate about it. You know, it is something I'm really proud of, and to have all the people that are collaborating with me. You know, I've got some really really popular names in the ASMR community in this project, and I've had several in chapter 4, 5, and 6 had some really big name. Well, I want to say big names, but people with channels bigger than mine. I mean, for example, we had. Well, this is it. This is something I've been thinking about. It's something It's a concept I have been thinking about, but I haven't got round to working that one out quite yet. But I'm really excited for Chapter 7. I'm really excited. I mean, who have we got on board? We've got Black Cat Aura ASMR and Sleeping Artist ASMR are returning as new characters. They were in Chapter 4 originally, as Sleeping Artist played Sophia, the hypnotist, and Black Cat Aura played both the Duchess Marguerite and Alicia, the wife of the governor. She actually stepped in to play the wife of the governor, named Alicia. We had a few, I want to say, technical issues over that. Nothing serious, nothing bad, but things kind of happened that caused a few. I feel bad, really, but about what exactly happened, but it was no one's fault. It was nothing. It was nothing terrible. Who else have we got on board? We've got Swarms ASMR. She stepped in to take the role of Arundel. We've got me, obviously, as Maximus. We've got Kata ASMR as the mind reader, and I will not reveal her name because you have to know if you're worthy enough to reveal her. I know the actual name of the mind reader, but the secret is you have to be deemed worthy enough to know it. So, and of course, we've got. Who else have we got? I've got. Oh, Quaint ASMR plays the master. Plays Tanith, the troop leader. So we've got Quaint ASMR, Sleeping Artist, Black Cat Aura, me, Kata, Sleeping Artist, Quaint ASMR, Kata. Me, Swarms, and Whisperwind ASMR. Yeah, Whisperwind ASMR is playing Callisto the Acrobat. So that it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that I've already seen some of the footage, I'm still waiting for a couple of videos to come through. But having seen what I've seen so far, I am really happy. I mean, everything I've received, I have never been disappointed in. There was one that I did have to discuss with, but that was technical issues which they managed to fix. So again, it wasn't their fault. But I did have to ask them. I felt bad for asking them to record it again, but sometimes you have to sort of go ahead with these little things to make sure that you want to give your viewers as good a quality of viewing as possible, and I don't like to disappoint my viewers. I mean, granted, I'm a small channel, 200. I mean, I'm delighted to have 215 viewers. I mean, when you consider, I mean, I've told this story so many times that I was once told when I started my original vlog channel, which has 48 subscribers, but that's dormant. I don't really do a lot with that channel at all now. I'm thinking of downloading the videos to re-upload and then shut that channel down. But I was once told that if I started a YouTube channel, that I would be very lucky if I got a single subscriber, because apparently no one would want to subscribe to me, because allegedly I'm the most boring person on the planet. That's a matter of opinion, if you ask me. I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, okay, boring. One person's boring is another person's whatever, really. You know, I mean, I'm not. I admit I'm not the most exciting of people, but I don't live life in the fast lane. I mean, why would you need to live life in the fast lane? Because what's the point of living life in the fast lane? Because you take each day as they come. This is my philosophy in life. Take each day as it comes. Don't try and rush. Sit back, take a breather. Enjoy the ride. That's my way of looking at it. I mean, it's like these 24/7 party people, or whatever they're called, 24-hour party people. The people that just want to. Yeah, I mean, I like to party, but I just think it's like, for me, I've been clubbing. I've been to nightclubs here in the UK, and they're hot. I mean, it's full of drunk people, and and to be honest with you, I'd rather just be in my hotel room reading a book or the newspaper or watching TV or listening to the radio. Pay for the Wi-Fi, use my phone, stick some ASMR on them, and chillax. I know that's not everyone's favourite word to use, but that's my evening sorted. A few jars in the bar or in a pub, and I'm happy. But I don't want to be out till 4 a.m. in the morning in a room full of just reading your your comment, Ronan. Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, I'm nearly 40. I turned 37 this year, and I have friends who are younger than me, and a lot of them have settled down and got married or are in a solid relationship and engaged. But my idea of a night out is the pub, not a nightclub, and the pub till about 10 o'clock at night, and then perhaps going back to the hotel, just to relax. As I say, I do need to do a lot more reading, and I think being in a hotel would, because there's not really much to do in there, in a hotel room, especially when you're a chap who's single, but that's a very different story. Oh dear. But yeah, there's just other ways of entertaining yourself, really, on a night out or a day out, and with a stay over. It doesn't have to be partying all the time, and I'm a chap who likes the simple things. I like my craft beer and things like that, and to find a quiet bar. I mean, in London that's almost impossible, but if you can find a quiet bar that does craft ales, I'm happy. Yeah, so I mean, it's like I'm not like most chaps anyway, because my idea of a good day out, or, you know, I mean, I'm not one of those blokes that like to stand on the terraces every week shouting on their favourite football team. I'm not really a sporty person. I will watch sport on the telly. I mean, rugby if it's on, and cricket if it's on. I will sit down and watch a bit of cricket. I'm not a huge fan like my dad is of cricket. I've been to several cricket matches. I've been to more cricket matches than I've been to football matches. Or I like that rice sage, thank you. Oh, that's brilliant. Yes, yeah. Winky winky. Oh dear. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't drink till I'm actually drunk in a stupor. I did that in my younger years, in my 20s, and I used to get really drunk at Christmas parties, and it was my very first hangover hit me when I was 30, and that's nearly 7 years ago, and I've never looked back. You know, I don't really drink at home anyway, because my dad doesn't. We have alcohol-free beer here at home, mainly on health grounds. You know, we still enjoy beer, but mainly my health, to be honest. Not diabetic or anything. I've had the blood tests that have proven I'm not diabetic, thank goodness. But I got gallstones. I had a scan last week, ultrasound scan that. I actually spoke to my doctor about it yesterday, and she said that she could refer me to the surgery unit, but the thing is, I've not had a lot of trouble with them because I've made a few changes to my diet, so, you know, hopefully keep up with the exercise, keep up with the dieting, or changing my diet anyway. I mean, this is zero cola, so no fat, no sugar. And I don't drink this very regularly. This is like a Saturday night thing when I do this. This is like a little treat for me. As I say, I don't drink alcohol regularly. I'm not what we refer to in Britain as a lager lout. I don't like lager. But I have a few pints when I'm out with friends. I drink socially, but I don't drink to the point that I'm on the floor in a drunken stupor. You know, I drink enough that I can remember the night as it was. You know, or I drink enough that I can perform karaoke, because I do need a bit of Dutch courage to perform karaoke. So, yeah. Put myself off then. Yeah, it is, to be honest. It is. Obviously, trying to keep up with my exercise and everything. As I say, it's gallstones, so I've now finally got to the bottom of what's causing all the abdominal pains. That, as I say, my GP did say she could refer me to the surgical team to have my gallbladder removed, but I think by making the changes that I'm making, I think I should be able to keep it under control without the need for surgery. I really feel that surgery is a last resort. I really think it's a last resort. I don't really want to go down that route if I can help it, because I think... Excuse me, I'm just going to readjust my lamp. There we go. That's better. You can see me a bit better now. So yeah, I don't really want to go down the route of surgery if I can help it, because then you really have to make big changes. But if I can try and keep fit, I mean, I'm never going to be stick thin. I'm always going to be a large gentleman, shall we say, a large chap. But if I can just at least I know I'm not type 2 diabetes, and my liver and my kidneys are, you know, my liver and my kidneys are pretty healthy. Fortunately, I think that's mainly because of the fact that I don't touch it. Do excuse me, my back always plays up around the 1 hour mark, so I just have to stretch it a little bit. It's called getting old in my book. Yeah, but yeah, I think things are looking pretty good at the moment from my perspective. I'm still unemployed, but I am looking for work. But it's under the pandemic. I think I'm in the same boat as a lot of people over here in the UK. A lot of places are finding, it's really complicated. The fact that I don't drive makes it harder because I've got like a. Well, welcome indeed to my live stream. Thank you for joining. Pleasure to meet you. Indeed, welcome. Where was I? Oh yes, I don't drive, so I've got like an impairment that reduces my reaction time. So if there was an emergency, I wouldn't react in time. Hence why. Also, I think driving must be really. I mean, from what I can tell, driving is really stressful anyway, and I've got enough stress in my life to worry about dealing with idiots on the road. I mean, I've got enough problems on my plate in the world that I don't need any other problems involving idiots. So yeah, I really drive. I really don't drive through choice. I live in a town anyway, so we have good transport links. I mean, we're 30 minutes from London by train. I mean, the station is about a mile from where, it's about a 30-minute walk from my house. So yeah, that's really good to hear, Ronan. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I'm not dry, shall we say, but I'm not a binge drinker. I will not. I will not. I've seen binge drinking firsthand, and I can concur. It's not a pretty sight. It is not a pretty sight whatsoever. So, and that wasn't me, obviously. As I say, I don't binge drink. There's no point really in it, that it takes all the fun out of an evening. One of the best evenings I did have though was when I went to a cocktail bar in Manchester. That was one of the best things I ever did. I had my very first Manhattan in Manchester, my very first Manhattan cocktail, and that was quite nice. If I go to another cocktail bar, Jodie, hello, welcome, lovely to see you. Thank you indeed. Yes, yeah. Just been talking about cocktails and my health, really. Yeah, just saying how I'm just doing. Now I know for certain it's gallstones that have been causing my health issues. I can actually do something about it. I am avoiding surgery. I spoke to my GP, and yeah, I don't want to go down the route of surgery. If I can change my diet, I can change my lifestyle basically. Yeah, exactly, Ronan. Exactly. As I'm getting older, my health is becoming much more important to me. I mean, physical and mental health is becoming much more important to me. I mean, if for those on Twitter you will know I consider myself a mental health advocate. So it is really important. I mean, you've got to look after your brain as well as your body. It's all connected. And but yeah, going back to cocktails, the worst I ever had was again in Manchester at the same cocktail bar, and it was called a screaming orgasm. Ugh. It was basically like an alcoholic vanilla milkshake, and we bought it for my best mate as a joke. It was me, another friend, and him. We'd all gone up to do the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway that week. Yes, we did. Because the week after that, I met Bernard Cribbins, who filmed the Railway Children there in the 1970s, and I met him at Comic-Con the following week. And we went out in Manchester on the Saturday night, and we went to a cocktail bar where I had the Manhattan, and we bought as a joke for my mate, we made him order a screaming orgasm, which caused us to it was hilarious because he just didn't know how to react, because you could see everyone around him laughing as he was trying to order it, and he didn't finish it. So he said, would one of you like to drink it? So I said, and I thought, and it was the most revolting, never order one, because it's the most revolting cocktail I have ever tasted. If you've had vanilla milkshake, think of vanilla milkshake, but with added alcohol of as many kinds as you can possibly think. I mean, it had cream in it, it had vanilla. It was disgusting. And we did a round, and the cocktail itself cost about £8.50. It was the most expensive cocktail on the menu, or one of the most expensive cocktails, and it was the most revolting. I can't remember now. Bear with me. I bet this... here we go. Yeah. It has in it, and I can tell you this, it's half an ounce vodka, half an ounce amaretto, half an ounce Kahlua, half an ounce Baileys, 30 ounces, half and half milk and single cream mix. And yeah, it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, the fact it's got... I mean, I like vodka, I like amaretto. I mean, not that I drink spirits that often. I mean, I usually have a whiskey around Christmas. In fact, I didn't have whiskey this year. I had gin. York gin, in fact. I've discovered York gin. I went to Yorkshire 2019. We stayed outside Pickering, but we went to York and I discovered York gin. Oh my god, if you like gin, I recommend York gin. It's delicious. They do one called Roman Fruits, because York is a Roman city. And yeah, it is curdle in a cup. Yeah, pretty much. As I say, it's revolting. Don't ever order one if you're in Manchester. No, that came out badly. If you go to... I wouldn't order one in a cocktail bar if they have it on the menu. That's what I mean. It's nothing to do with Manchester whatsoever. Manchester's a lovely city. I apologise to anyone who's watching this back on the replay and is from Manchester. Yeah, so... yeah, York gin. Love it. Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought this live stream would have turned into turned into my partaking of the alcoholic beverages. But you know, as I say, anything happens in these live streams. It can become incredibly lively, or it can just be me chatting away about anything and everything, really. So, as I say, I've covered all the bits at the beginning, and all my news, project-wise and everything. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, where else have I been in the world? I went to Edinburgh in 2000. I love Edinburgh. Only been there once, but I'd love to go back. Before lockdown, I spent a lot of my weekends in London. Absolutely adore London. I haven't actually been to Stoke. I've got relatives in Stoke, but I've never actually been into Stoke-on-Trent. Well, Cardiff I've been to once. Love to go to Cardiff. Love to go back there. York I've been to several times. Norwich, used to go to Norfolk once a year for 16 years in a row, from 2000 to 2016. Shrewsbury visited. This is the big cities, you know. But yeah, you know, I'm pretty well travelled around Britain. Hopefully going to get to Liverpool one day, because I want to go down Strawberry Fields and find the Cavern Club. Oh, thank you. Yes, yeah. I'm actually using a piece of software for this live stream, but you know, yeah. My mates have got plenty of stories they can tell you about me, I'm sure, that are all probably very embarrassing. In my younger, more wilder day, you probably couldn't imagine me being young and wild, can you? I mean, I'm such a mellow chap with a somewhat very dry sense of humour, you know. Oh, I say, you know, sort of, damn you, vile woman. No, that was Stewie Griffin. I say, I've decided not to kill you. You know. No. Excuse me. No. Sorry, my dad's just. I'm going to have to quieten down a little bit because my dad's just heading off to bed, so I can't be too loud now. But back's going. Oh, I really need to get some more cushions on this chair. It's since I've lost weight, I've lost a lot of my natural cushioning ability. But yeah, I mean, this beard. Look at this beard. I'm so proud. I'm proud of my beard. Changing the subject there. Pappy Jasper, eh? My chicken's so good, I put it in a bucket and I put my face on it. I'm the Colonel. I apologise to my American friends from places like Kentucky and, you know, I'm Colonel Sanders. I'm not too bad with American accents, actually. You know, you might have heard in my sci-fi series I did one for one of the sort of antagonists. You know, it came out like, and what about the Empress's father? You know, I'm not too bad with accents, actually. I mean, obviously, if you've seen the collaborations I've been in, I tend to do. And how about we do something about, you like trains? I like trains too. You know, I like trains too. Yeah, that's probably one thing I'm probably most well known for in the ASMR community, talking about trains and playing with my walking stick, shall we say? Playing with my walking stick. I shouldn't laugh. I've got to be quiet. I've got to be. Oh dear. Do you like trains? I like. Let's. What was my line? I can't remember it now. Let's have some fun with trains. Yes, shall we? Alice, hello, welcome. Yes, yeah. Oh dear. Oh, I'm a terrible, terrible person with a terrible sense of humour. Oh dear. What am I like? What am I? I am a cheeky little monkey, but although with my red hair, I reckon I must have been an orangutan in another life with my red hair. That or a Viking. I think I might have been more of a Viking than anything. I mean, my hair's can you see it? I can't. Let me go to the side. I mean, look, it's getting quite long. I hope you can hear it, but it is getting quite long. I thought about, because I love cosplay, as you know, and I thought about doing reenactment. Obviously, not being able to drive, I can't get to a lot of these things, but I'd love to do reenactment, and I'd love to be a Viking. Because I mean, if I grow this long enough, I could definitely have a Viking beard. I think I could pull it off. That or an Anglo-Saxon, anything from that period. I don't think I would make a very good Roman, but I definitely think I'm Viking material. Possibly a Viking berserker. And I discovered again in York they are real, and because I did the Jorvik Viking Centre on my first visit to York for a number of years in 2013. Keanu Reeves and Aragorn, definitely nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of respect for Keanu Reeves, and Aragorn is one of my favourite characters in the Lord of the Rings. So I'll drink to that. I will definitely drink to that. Well, Vikings did wear ponytails, and I think I definitely think I could pull it off as a Viking. I'd have to get the costume though. But I am trying to build a helmet out of cardboard at the moment. It's I used to love this program on kids' TV called Nightmare. Ran from about 1987 to about 1990. There was about 8 seasons, and it's only cola. It's only cola in my favourite Doctor Who glass. It's got the Cybermen on it. I'm a Whovian. It's only cola. I bet that looks. I love samurai. The other thing. I mean, I'm going off subject here from Vikings and going towards samurai. Japan is on my list of places I want to visit. I want to visit Tokyo. Absolutely want to go to Tokyo. I don't really watch enough. I don't really watch a lot of anime. I really want to get into watching anime. One of my biggest influences on that is GB ASMR. She loves her anime, and she makes all these suggestions in her videos of what to watch, and I never get round to actually watching anything, and I'm really annoyed at myself because I really want to try it. It's caffeine free, so it's sugar free, caffeine free. It's got taste though. It's not a well known brand. It's a supermarket brand, but it tastes like Pepsi, so it's all right by me. I have to cut down on the caffeine as much as I do on the alcohol, to be honest with you. History of heart problems in the family. We've got I think we've had history of everything under the sun in this family. You know, my family, sadly. But we keep going. We're pretty good with our health. So, oh, when was the last time I had Mackies? My goodness, when was the last time I had Mackie D's? Ooh, that's a good thought. It's been a while since I've had Mackie D's. I mean, when I go up into London, I usually end up in Five Guys by Charing Cross Station, because literally it's my hometown station, straight direct to Charing Cross. Not, you know, so via London Bridge, and I'm only about 30 minutes on the train from London. It's fantastic. You know, it's my ambition, once everything is back to a level of normality, I'd love to organise an ASMR meetup and get people to come down and meet up in London, perhaps, and spend the day. You know, I would love to do that, to actually meet people in person. You know, I think, you know, but zombie apocalypse diet, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, when I was working back in October, I did use Just Eat for the first time ever, for the only time, and I got myself KFC. I will eat Mackie D's, but for me it's like, because I always find with Mackie D's anyway, I'm always hungry like an hour later. I don't know, I don't find it very filling, but I think that's also because I've changed my diet so much in the last few years. I mean, when you consider back in 2000 and at the beginning of 2019, I actually weighed about 27 stone, and now I'm down to just below 20. It's taken over a year, well over a year, but I'm down to about 19.5 stone, which is what I was when I was about 18. I'm never going to be stick thin. And to be honest with you, I don't really want to be. As long as I can keep myself fit and healthy. I mean, the camera makes me look bigger, but when I look at my face in the mirror, it's not as big as the camera makes out. Who's just joined? Ah, Prosman! Welcome! Welcome, indeed. Yes, I was talking about Norfolk earlier, actually, because I used to go on... I was actually saying... I used to go to Norfolk every year on holiday from 2000 to 2016. We used to stay in a little seaside village called... Well, we used to stay just outside of a little seaside village called Seapalling. Because we used to shop in the Tesco's at Stalham. And obviously, I know Cromer... I was going to tell you this, actually, Prosman, because I know, you know... me, what have I got in the pipeline for videos? I'm going to do a few... obviously, Lord of War and Heartache is my big project. I'm going to do a few rambles. Not walking rambles. I'm going to do a few sort of just... a bit like these live streams, but I'm going to just do like a couple of update videos. Sort of very lo-fi, very quietly spoken. I'm going to do a few video game videos as well, for a little bit of variety. I've got a few other role plays ideas that I want to try out as well. I've got a few collaborations on the go, so you'll be seeing my you'll be seeing my contributions to those videos as well once the collaborations are up. You know, I love, that is the thing, I love collaborating, whether it's on my own work or with someone else. I love, whatever I do, I love to collaborate, because I love sharing my creativity with so many people, and the fact that I'm able to collaborate with other channels and share my... I've actually got emulators, so I can use the software that I use for live stream to record video games. In fact, one of the collaborations I'm part of, which is coming up, is a video game collaboration hosted by Mike. Well, hosted by Mike Talks ASMR. So that'll be coming up. So keep an eye out on his Twitter for that announcement. I probably have said a bit too much. I don't think it was meant to be a surprise or anything. I hope not. I feel a bit bad for announcing it. Yeah, well, I mean, I know you've got a role in mine. I know we've sorted out a role in my series, so you and I. So I'm happy to. I'm very happy that you're on board, Atlas, because I think you're an amazing. All the ASM artists that join me in these live streams, you know, you're all fantastic. To be honest, I love all your work. I won't deny it. I do apologise. That was very unprofessional of me. I do apologise. What did I just do then? Bear with me. I apologise for that. That was very unprofessional of me. I need to be better prepared. Where's my bin? There it is. Dear, oh dear. Naughty Matthew, smack hand. But yeah, you know, I follow nearly 2,000 ASM artists on. I'm subscribed to nearly 2,000 ASM artists on YouTube, and the thing is, YouTube is telling me I can't subscribe to any more. So any that I can't subscribe to, I'm actually saving to a favourites list on my Internet Explorer, so that my Internet Explorer, so that when the time comes and I can, I think it's because I'm oversubscribed compared to the number of followers I have, which I think is complete and utter rubbish, to be honest with you. I don't think the number of followers you have should affect the number of people you can follow. You know, granted, I know I always keep going on about being a small channel, but I'm grateful for the 215 people that are subscribed to me, because they keep me going. They motivate me to be a content creator. I know that I do it for them. I do it for them, you know, and other people who join me it is a thrill when I get a new subscriber. It is an absolute, and I'm sure it is for everyone else, but for me to, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, Jodie, because Atlas, you are an amazing ASM artist. You know, I think you know, you're one of the best out there, and this is just me talking. I love all the ASM artists I'm subscribed to. I mean, I've got a list of, I think I've gone through it before, you know, of all the ASM artists I'd love to collaborate with, if they did collaborate. I mean, as you know, Jodie, you're on my list. Sage I've already collaborated with, or I'm collaborating with. Um, you know, I mean, people like if they did collaborate, ASMR Glow. I mean, if she collaborated, I don't know if she does, but that would be a dream collaboration. GB, Shani, if Shani, um, uh, ASMR Shortbread, I think she would be amazing to collaborate with. Um, Scottish Murmurs, Creative Calm. I mean, not that I think she would collaborate, but Gentle Whispering. I think. I mean, I'm. To be honest with you, every ASM artist that I'm subscribed to, I would love to collaborate. And if they don't, that's fine. I grant this as my, what's the word? I grant this as my sort of list of appreciation. There's huge influence to me across the the whole community has been a huge inspiration and a huge support for me and my channel over these. I've been going for about 8 months now, and I've been overwhelmed by how much encouragement I have for my work and things. I mean, yes, granted, I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm just so passionate about it. I mean, Ronan, you always compliment on how passionate I am about my work, and that's not a lie. That is not a lie. I started this project. I mean, I had my sci-fi project to begin with, and that. Yeah, I mean, Joe. Yeah, a lot of thanks goes to Jodie for a lot of things, because she's a lot of the collaborations I've been involved in so far have been through Jodie, and I think you are amazing to work with, Jodie. I have to say, you are a lot of fun to work with. I mean, the ideas. I mean, the mushrooms as well. Yeloma, Crystal, Raina, official Raina Tamarin. It's a lot of fun to work with all of you. I think it's it's a huge amount of fun to be involved in the collaborations with the mushrooms, with the Mushroom Theatre. I mean, I was fortunate to have them on board for Chapter 5 of my project. Oh, she definitely is the collab queen. I agree with that. I mean, Jess K Creative, she's amazing. Swarms, Sleeping Artist, Julie, Sleeping Artist ASMR, a whole load of people who are in. Kate, KB Cuddles, I'm a cater top. I am a cater top. And I think, I think that this is what I love about this community. I mean, I know we've had a lot of. I know there's a lot of tension in this community, in the ASMR community, and there has been. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, though. I know there's been tension in the community in the last month or so, but all in all, I think deep down, we all want the same thing. We all have the same goals. We all have the same heart. We all have the same. I always say the very foundations of ASMR are love, hope, peace. What was it? Love, hope, peace, and there was a fourth one. I can never remember what it is. I think I wrote it down on Twitter, believe it or not. But definitely love, hope, and peace are the three of the foundations I always consider ASMR to be built around. And yeah, seeing books. That's the other thing I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of doing some ASMR reading. I actually wrote a steampunk novella that I'm still editing. I've been editing it for several years now, and I never got it published. It's called the Fitzwilliam and Vrecht Mysteries, and it's kind of a pseudo sequel to sausage. Yeah, can't go wrong with sausage rolls. I'll get told off by the vegetarians and the vegans, but my respect goes to them. So we all have different tastes, but yeah, I'm looking to do a reading of my steampunk novel that I never got published. I never plucked up the courage to do it, but it features a lot of characters that feature in my other work as well, because I was trying to create like a multiverse, sort of like my equivalent of like a cinematic universe, because you'll notice there's some characters in my projects that cross over. They're different characters, but they have the same names and similar personalities. And I want I tried to write this this novel, and it's more of a novella because they're short chapters, and there's only like about 31 chapters in total. But it's set in a steampunk Victorian London. It's quite cliche really for steampunk. I did try and set it in the 21st century, but that became a bit too... I decided to put it back to the 19th because it just felt right. Absolutely felt right. I will do it. I will probably do it as audio recording. So I'll record it because I'll read it from the screen, and then I will put pictures over the top of it. So it'll be like some of my more regular story videos, because obviously I tend not, although I've got a green screen, I tend not to appear on camera for my characters. I've got all the voice. That's the thing. I've got all the voices in my head. That sounds good, doesn't it? All the voices in my head. But you know what I mean. I've got the idea of what they sound like in my head, and to try and bring them to life visually, it would just be me all the time in different costumes. And I like to give people the opportunity to picture the characters in their head, create their own image of the characters by how they sound and react. So yeah, it's called the Fitzwilliam and Vrecht Mysteries, and it's book 1. I've got it here on my computer. It's because it was going to be a trilogy of books. I had it all worked out. I mean, the second one was called, the second book title was called Bloodhenge. I started writing it but never finished it. Because I've also got my old scripts as well that I wrote. I had a sci-fi series that became the Destructor Saga on my channel, originally called Domination: The Last Civilization, which I wrote when I was about 12 years old. And I was going to do a reading of that script because I think I'll do it for a giggle, because it's absolute rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. I think it will be good for a laugh, because compared to what I write now, it's yeah. A lot of them I consider friends, definitely friends. As I was saying to Helios the other day. And I mean, there's another one that I wrote, set in the medieval period, called The Chronicles of Sir Robert de Henge, which I will definitely do a reading of. because I wrote that one when I was about, I think I wrote that one when I was about 17, and it's about medieval. Oh no, what's happened there? It's basically about medieval demon hunters, and it's quite interesting because how many pages? Oh yeah, it's only 36 pages. The script's only 36 pages long, but it would have been my most. I've got loads of old scripts and things that I wrote on. I will have to do a whole reading of these things because I think for anything it will be a good laugh. I mean, I've got my Doctor Who, my only completed Doctor Who novel as well, The Soul Machination, to read as well. You know, for the Whovians out there. And then of course I've got my artwork to share as well. You know, I've been working. I've got so many ideas up here. It's constantly being stirred. I love writing. There's a Japanese TV series. I mean, if you know of Power Rangers. The concept of that came from Japan. This is going back. This is just. I'll get to the point eventually. I like going around the houses, you know, round and round the garden like a teddy bear. But it comes from Japan and it's called Super Sentai. There was one series of Super Sentai that was never adapted, and it was called Resha Sentai Tokuja, which stands for. It's something like Trains Squadron Express Ranger, and they were basically Power Rangers set around trains. What's not to like? But they had their motto was the victorious imagination, and that has stuck with me because I feel that if you have if you consider your imagination victorious, the sky is the limit. There is no limit, in fact. Your imagination is the greatest tool, is the greatest gift we have. You know, I mean, look at some of the greatest things we've ever had given to us in this world. You know, that's been written or painted or composed or physically created on a, you know, to hold in your hands. It's like Lego, for example. I love Lego, and it's just the power of the imagination. And I think this is where a lot of people fall flat now, because they've forgotten how to use their imagination. This is why I love ASMR, because ASMR is so creative, so imaginative. You can be anyone. You can create anything. Oh, thank you for joining, Atlas. Thank you indeed. Thank you. Yeah, you know, but I just this is why I love this whole concept, because it's allowed me to focus my imagination and create a whole world of people, a world of characters. It is where my imagination was discouraged when I was younger by teachers because they didn't understand my imagination. ASMR has actually allowed me to tap into my imagination. I mean, I'm getting passionate about this again. It just makes me so passionate that I can actually image of nature. I like that. I absolutely like that. Yes, I agree. You know, and the fact that we can tap into it, and I really do feel that a lot of people in this world have forgotten how to use their imagination. They're so driven by, you know, they're so driven by how everything, you know, politics, money, business, anything like that. They are so many people have forgotten how to do it, how to imagine, how to be creative. They've forgotten about the things that really matter in this world, the things that people should really care about. And I don't just mean imagination on its own. I mean, there are great innovators out there. There are great innovators like Elon Musk, Bill Gates. You know, say what you like. You know, you might disagree. You know, there's people out there who exactly, Ronan. Never let the corporate world turn you into another cog. You know, I do need a job because I do need money to be able to afford to do a lot of the things I love doing. So I do need a job, but my imagination will oh well, thank you for joining me, Jody. That I really appreciate your spending some time with us this evening and with me. I really do appreciate that. I really hope you've enjoyed this this live stream. I'm going to carry on for quite a bit longer because I'm really having fun at the moment. But yeah, I mean, as I say, if you know, it's this is why I'm so passionate about everything I talk about. Have a very good evening, Jody. You know, and I'll see you at the next premiere or live stream, wherever. You know, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate that. Exactly, Ronan. Keep the spark alive. That's one of my personal philosophies. You've got to keep the spark alive because it's the spark that gives us. I believe it's the spark that gives us our humanity. It's the fact that we use our imaginations and keep that spark alive that keeps us human. You know, if you become another cog, you just become another part of the machine. You're just another machine in the network. Whereas, good night, Jody. Have a good one. Thank you for joining me. You know, and I really. I mean, this is why I always do talk about, you know, growing my channel and becoming a bit more interactive with my viewers and things. I mean, I dream of reaching 1,000 subscribers purely not for monetization. I said this in a previous live stream. I think I accidentally clicked on the send an email when you're eligible for money. I have no interest in that. All I'm interested in is sharing my world with people, and the more people I can do that with, the happier I am. Because if I can inspire people to trigger their own sparks, light their own fires of their imagination, then I think, you know, the world is their oyster as much as it's mine. You know, we can do anything if we put our minds to it. We can be anyone. We can go anywhere. I mean, I've been stuck in these four walls for quite some time since my temporary contract with my last employer ran out at the end of November. And it's my imagination, really, and my creativity that's kept me going whilst looking for employment. I think December really was a bit null and void anyway because of the season of goodwill. But you know, I don't think if I'd really plucked up the courage to become an ASM artist, I think I would have struggled a lot more. I mean, the fact that I because I was always a supporter of the ASMR community from its very beginning. I mean, I've been watching it since 2009 when it was known as the Whisper community, and it's always helped me through some of my darkest times. And it's really been an inspiration, really been a huge inspiration for me across the board. There's so many wonderful creative people out there, and I just I love it. I absolutely love it. I love as I said earlier, I love writing. I love creating artwork for my projects, for example. I mean, a lot of the backgrounds you see for my characters are because I download them from Pixabay, but then I create montages, I create collages, digital collages through Photoshop to use. Sorry, just looking at the chat. Yeah. Yeah, just feeding through the chat, some very, very profound and deep conversation going on there, which I truly respect, and it's wonderful to, even if you're not an ASM artist but you are a supporter, then like you are, Ronan. Indeed, you're probably one of the biggest supporters I know of the community, and I certainly wouldn't have a bad word said against you. Certainly not if anyone tried to. You've always had my utmost respect since we first started communicating through Twitter and these chat screens. And of course, Prosman, yourself, a newcomer to the community, but very welcome indeed. I think it's beginning to open up more to. I think the community is definitely opening up more to the creative side. I think the time of finger fluttering and things like that are slowly beginning to move over. I'm seeing a lot more creativity and a lot less traditional ASMR, shall we say, in my opinion. I think things like finger fluttering and all that is very slowly going out of fashion, and people are beginning to become more creative and imaginative in their video content. Thank you, Ronan. I genuinely appreciate that. Indeed, and you have my utmost respect as well. Thank you. But yeah, so I guess I use ASMR really as an outlet for my I think of it like a superpower, really. The fact that I'm able to, because I always wanted to actually write and create my own story when I was younger, hence why I wrote my scripts. But I was a member of a youth club for many years, and I wrote a lot of my own scripts and things, and none of the kids were really interested. I mean, someone wrote a script like a parody of Friends called Buddies, and to be honest with you, the role they their biggest joke apparently was the fact that I used to do tabletop wargaming. Apparently that was going to get a big laugh, that the fact I used to do tabletop wargaming as a hobby. I mean, we were teenagers, granted, but we did it be a huge yes, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, my Twitter feed I always consider to be a safe haven. I mean, I refuse to tolerate any type of bigotry or hatred or anything like that. You know, I consider myself inclusive, absolutely inclusive of anyone and everybody within reason. You know, I really think there's too much hatred in this world. There's far too much hatred in this world, I think, to... there's so many self-absorbed people and self-obsessed people in this world that I think if you can spread a bit of, you know, love, peace, hope, anything like that, light, anything like that, through even just a few kind words, I think that's more than anything to a lot of people. You know, I mean, I do have my moments and my dark times. I mean, that video, I will address that video that I posted up last week. You know, I was going through a really dark moment when I made that video, and I do get them. I will be honest, I get them. I mean, it's just part of me being human, really. You know, my emotions get better of me, and sometimes I have to make these videos to express myself. Really, it's a sort of an expression. You know, I have to let these thoughts and feelings go, and if I have to talk about them on camera, so be it. You know, it was hard to make. I admit that it was very hard to make because I didn't enjoy making it, but I felt I had to. In order, otherwise I would have, you know, I would have lost out on how I was feeling at the time. I mean, I try and remain positive. I do. It is. Oh, it's okay. I was just looking at that the conversation in the chat, but that's fine. You know, it is hard to try and remain positive all the time. You know, human emotions are so unpredictable, and for me as an autistic person, it's even more unpredictable. But you know, positivity. We need more positivity in this world. We genuinely need. You know, we need more, you know, friendliness and love, and yeah, I mean, I could sit here all night and preach, as it were. I mean, it sounds like I'm preaching. Let's be honest. I'm not preaching, but you know, I just get so fed up with all the negativity in the world. You know, and if I can be one of those people that tries to see the good in people, and you know, there's too much negativity in this world for us to worry about us. You know, everything else. But we concentrate so much on the big things, we miss the little things in life that make life so worthwhile. You know, it is the little things that really sort of keep us going. You know, I try to have an open arms approach. I mean, you know, I will admit there have been one or two situations where I will admit I've not been so open armed, but that's only because I've discovered I've discovered some difficult truths, shall we say, that had to be addressed and dealt with. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to heal. You know, I would love to bring people together through my storytelling and things like that, and you know, help, you know, bring people together and sort of. I mean, I do share a lot of my life experiences on Twitter. I mean, I did have a lot of negative life experiences in school and in the workplace. Um, you know, growing up as a kid, you know, family life is fantastic. My parents have supported me since day one, since I was even diagnosed autistic at the age of 8. You know, I love my parents, but you know, I've been through a lot of dark times, and I don't ever want people to experience the negative emotions that I don't force myself to be happy. Let's put it that way. I don't. Everything you see about me on screen, on Twitter, is genuine. There is nothing fake about me. I hate it when people are fake, to be honest with you. Why be anything else? I mean, the only time I put on an act is when I'm actually recording my voices. You know, that's the only time I put on an act. I mean, there are times when I do wear a mask, and I can mask myself quite well. But, you know, what's the point when you don't have to 100% of the time? You know, there is times and a place. There are times and places for wearing masks, like in the workplace. I have what I call a professional mask that I put on. You know, fit mentally, not literal mask. I don't know why I'm explaining it like that, but you know, I have a mental mask that I wear in the workplace, a professional mask. But you know, social media and Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I'm me. I can't be anyone else. There is no, you know, I could pretend to be the big I am. I could pretend to be, you know, someone, you know, who's. I'm not an influencer. I could never be an Instagram influencer or anything like that. You know, you've got to have drive. You've got to have. I nearly said arrogance, but you know, because I'm not an arrogant. I beg your pardon. I keep scratching my nose. Do beg your pardon. I've got an itchy nose. I just need to. You know, I mean, I don't consider myself influential at all. You know, I just do what I do, and if people enjoy it, then I'm very happy about it. You know, I would never be. You know, I could put it this way. Prime example, I worked in the glass and glazing industry for about 6 months back in about 2004. I hated it. It's like insurance. I don't ever want to work in that industry again. I don't want to work in insurance again, and I don't want to work in the glass and glazing industry again, because in that industry you have to sell, and I'm not a seller. I'm a, you know, I don't have the push to actually sell things. I'm a people person, but I'm not a people person. I can't work with the public. I find I like people, but I can't work with people. You know, I can work with people in an office environment, but I couldn't work with the public because I just don't have the my personality is very different to a lot of people who work in shop. You know, it's easy for me to sit here and, you know, openly talk on a microphone and look at a camera, but I kind of feel that for a start, I find it very difficult to read emotions anyway. It takes longer for them to register with me. I can get sarcasm because I can be quite sarcastic. Believe it or not, I can actually be quite sarcastic when I want to be. But I have to be in the wrong situation for that. You know, I have to be pushed for anyone to see my sarcastic streak. It's very rare that I use sarcasm. Not saying I don't enjoy it, but I've had some beautiful moments where my sarcasm has come through and people have just really, really loved it. They do say though that sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, so you know it's used in very sparingly small situations. But you know, I don't. You know, I don't consider myself an influence. If people are influenced by what I do and what I create, I'm absolutely thrilled by that. But I don't feel that I could be a huge Instagram influencer like you see on social media, where they. I'm just me at the end of the day. I'm really just me, and I'm happy to be me, because I just think, as I've said before, why be anyone else? Why try and be anyone else except when I'm doing voices and recording for my project? That's it. You know, it's... Yes. I saw that on I think I saw that on a postcard in Chroma once, that saying. In one of the little gift shops up in the town centre, just up the road from the pier. Yeah. Was it Great Yarmouth? I think it was. Might have been one of the shops down Regent Street in Great Yarmouth. That's how well I know. That's how many times I've been to Great Yarmouth. I actually memorised the main street going down into the town centre from opposite the pier, that big road with all the little gift shops and things down there. Yeah, very happy memories of the early 2000s in Norfolk. Yeah, Great Yarmouth. Norwich on my cousin's birthday. That's interesting. That is an interesting thought. Yes, yeah. But you know, it's ASMR has allowed me to be myself in so many ways, because people have accepted me for who I am. You know, not. You know, a lot of people in my past haven't accepted me. Oh, my back. Oh dear. I probably need to look at a different chair. This isn't the most. But you know, there's been people in my past who have told me. I mean, I had one person say to me things like, "You are so boring." You know, they actually looked me in the face and went, "You are so boring." You know, and someone actually once said to me, "Never try to be funny in my presence again." Well, I wasn't even trying to be funny, you know, sort of thing. And I've had so many naysayers, and to find myself in this community has been a real sort of joy. You know, to become part of this community. I'm so, you know, I'm proud to be part of this community. I take pride in the fact that I'm part of this community. It's yeah, it has got an amazing pier. What was it? I saw several years ago. I saw the Baron Knights at Cromer Pier, and I saw a Pink Floyd tribute act at Cromer Pier as well. Can't remember, it wasn't Think Floyd. I can't remember which tribute act it was, but it was a Pink Floyd tribute act at Cromer Pier. Never saw a seaside special. Never saw a summertime seaside special there. Oh, the singing postman. Have you got a light, boy? Yeah, have you got a light? I think that's the one anyway. Was it Postman? I think it was the Postman. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I always remember his CDs were on sale in Roy's of Wroxham. Always made me chuckle. Love Roy's of Wroxham. I hope it's doing all right during this pandemic, because obviously there's no tourists on the Broads at the moment. So, you know, I just hope, yeah, but yeah, hopefully one day I'll get back up there and see, because I love the the Poppy Line North Norfolk Railway. Yeah, did that. First time I did that was 2007, and it reignited my love of railways. I mean, I always loved railways since I was a kid, but during my teenage years, I always say the fire was dampened, the spark disappeared. You know, I still had interest in railways, but nothing like I do again to this day. But going back to North Norfolk, going to North Norfolk Railway from Holt to Sheringham really reignited the fire, the passion, the fire for my love of railways and trains and things like that. So it really did, you know, and yes, of course, yeah. I don't know when that will be, but yeah, I would very much enjoy crossing paths with you when I'm next. I don't know when that will be. I mean, last time I went was last February. We went up to Horsey Beach and saw the seals with their pups. That was about a year ago this month, I think. It would have been this weekend, a year ago today, actually, because we went up to Horsey. We had tea and cake in the Poppylands 1940s cafe, not far from, sort of between Horsey and Sea Pauling. Lovely cafe. If you don't know about it, when it reopens after lockdown, when it reopens after lockdown, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful little cafe. It's 1940s decor and everything, and it's lovely. Oh, hello, welcome. Yes, a newcomer. Thank you for joining me. Just talking about my love of the county of Norfolk. I live in Kent, of course. I live in the southeast of England. About 30 minutes from London. To be honest with you, I live in one of the most boring. If people from Kent are watching this, I prefer East Kent to West Kent. I live in West Kent, but I prefer East Kent. I think I don't know what it is about East Kent that attracts me so much. You know, I think I think its terrain is nicer. For me personally, anyway, I think it's the nice. There's going to be so many people from Kent who disagree if they watch this live stream back and if they get this far. I mean, I've been going for over. This is the longest live stream I've done so far, 2 hours 20 minutes. But you know, I'm just keeping going because I love it. You know, I live in Kent, and I guess when I guess I've got so used to living in Kent, it just. I mean, what was it I did? I went to Richborough Roman Fort near Sandwich in Kent for the first time last summer when they started to lift the lockdowns. I'm a member of English Heritage, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I just don't know what it is about. I guess because I'm so used to where I am, I just see it as another, I just see it as a, whereas East Kent has so much going on. I mean, Canterbury, fantastic city. I love Canterbury. You have to pay to go into the cathedral though, and it's so expensive to go in. But if you're a member of English Heritage and you find yourself in Canterbury, visit St Augustine's Abbey. Love St Augustine's Abbey, one of my favourite English Heritage properties. Dover Castle. I was talking about Dover Castle earlier, actually, at the near the beginning of this thread when I was talking about computer games, because I was talking about the secret wartime tunnels underneath there, also known as Hellfire Corner. And I was talking about how after 26 years, I finally got in 2019, I finally got down into the Cold War tunnels, Dumpy, and that was a huge thrill for me to get down into those tunnels, because I remember them talking about and saying they were too dangerous to go down back in the 90s. And I always believed that up until recently they'd always been in use by the MOD, because there was always different excuses for why we couldn't go down there. There was fungal spores, the floors were uneven, the paint work on the walls had lead in it, and then all of a sudden English Heritage start advertising members only tours of Dumpy Level. And it was a huge thrill. It was a group tour, so there were quite a few people, but it was an absolute thrill to finally get down to the one level I always wanted to visit at Dover Castle. I mean, I love Dover Castle. I think it's one of my favourite English Heritage properties. Across the itchy back. Yeah, I was saying, when I went up to Edinburgh, I want to go back to Edinburgh, of course. I went up to Edinburgh in 2009, April 2009, and did the castle, did Holyrood, and because obviously being English Heritage, I got them for half price. And lovely city, absolutely lovely. But we're talking about going up to the Highlands as well. We're actually talking about going up to the Highlands at some point in the future, once everything is back to a certain level of normality. Me and my parents, that is. 30. I still live. Yeah, long story short, basically can't afford to move out, so still living at home at 36. But I will, once I do find full-time employment, I can start saving it, because I've always been in and out of temporary contracts, and of course I've had some. I mean, longest I was in employment was 10 years in the insurance industry, but it's not really the industry for me. I've discovered I'm much happier in things like civil engineering. My dad and my sister both work in civil engineering, and they actually said, if you can get your foot in the door, but COVID has made things a bit complicated job wise, and contracts. A lot of contracts at the moment are temporary, so I've been in and out of work for the last year or so, and well, I keep going. I just keep going and keep calm and carry on, as the posters say. But live and learn, carry on. But yeah, so I want to travel the country a bit more, see more places. Scotland, more of Scotland, more of Wales. I've had my passport now since when does my passport run out? 2026, I think. I got it in 2016 and I still haven't used it. So I've had it for about 5 years and I still haven't got round to using it, but I haven't been able to afford to travel. It's useful for ID purposes, but as I said earlier, I'd love to go to Japan, but probably start a bit closer to home with France. Maybe do a day trip to Bruges, visit Dublin, something like that. Stay sort of local and travel up and down. Do a bit more sort of long distance travel. Excuse me. See more of Britain. Definitely like to see more of Britain. Yeah, I love train travel. I do enjoy train travel, even when I have to stand. I just love the concept of travelling. Really, I don't really want to do things like music festivals or anything like that. Not that sort of travelling. I'm a sightseer. I like visiting places. I like museums, art galleries. I'm that sort of person. I'm a cultural tourist. I like the culture. I'm not. If I went to holiday destinations around the world, I wouldn't go for the party or nightlife. I'd go for the scenery, the scenery, the culture, the history, things like that. I'd love to visit Rome, Paris, Berlin, Vienna, Madrid. Where else? Barcelona. I think I said Paris. Zurich. Was it Zurich or Geneva I wanted to visit? Well, both. I went to Switzerland when I was about 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old, with my extended with my parents and my extended family. That's the only time I've ever travelled furthest away from Britain. We stayed in a little town called Lucerne. We were on one of the lakes. We were on one of the hotels, the Hotel Seaberg. I remember it well, because we always laughed because the boats we travelled on had exactly the same announcement tone as my grandparents' doorbell. So that was a big joke across the week that we were there. The fact that the boats chime to get the public's attention were exactly the same as my grandparents' doorbell. Okay, I've just told that story twice, but still tickles me to this day. So yeah, I mean, did the Transport Museum there. That was wonderful. And we went up Mount Titlis. That was my first experience. That was my only experience of walking through a glacier. We visited. I think a lot of the towns I can't remember the names of. But we did everything by boat and train. We used public transport to get around. And it was so, from what I recall, it was so reasonably priced anyway. I mean, I was only a kid, but you don't forget. You don't forget her. And we went in spring, so there was no snow, except when we went up the mountain. Um, and yet we were standing on the mountain top in shorts and t-shirts. It was that hot, and yet there was still snow all over the mountain. It was amazing. I'll never forget it. It will be a. And then obviously a few years later we went to Euro Disney for a long weekend. That was a lot of fun. I'd rather go. I mean, I want to go to Legoland in Billund. Yeah, that's where I really want to go. Legoland. We have one in Britain, Windsor, but I want to go to the original one. Yeah, I'd like to travel more. I'd like to. Yes, National Trust. Yes, yeah, I'm a member of the National. I'm also a member of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds as well. So I like, when they're open up again, I want to go to. There's several bird sanctuaries I want to visit as well, or wildlife centres that I'd like to visit again, because I've got a big digital SLR camera with a decent telescopic lens. I've got photos from Brampton in Yorkshire when I stayed up in Yorkshire about 2-3 years ago, and I've got I want to say the guillemot. I have got photos of puffins. We were fortunate that we were there when the puffins were there, but I think I've got guillemots as well. I think there's guillemots, and what was the other one? What was the other birds that were there? Oh, it's gonna annoy me now, because I won't remember what birds they were. They were definitely birds. But it was guillemots, puffins, and blimey. Isn't it amazing when you try and remember these things and you can't off the top of your head? Never mind. Loads of herring gulls there as well. But if you ever find yourself in Yorkshire, in North Yorkshire, Brampton is an amazing place to visit. And it's got the ruins of an old World War II radar station there as well. I think it's either a radar station or an observation station. Observation station. I like rhyming. I like words that rhyme. I like rhyming words. Yeah. Sorry, just thinking to myself. Sort of a pause for thought just then. To be honest with you, though, I think I'm going to wrap this up, because this is the longest I've ever gone for a live stream, and it is 25 to midnight where I am now. So to be honest with you, I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's been an absolute blast. I've absolutely loved. This has probably been one of my most successful live streams ever. I mean, the most people I had at one time was 7. I've had one live stream where there's been 0. So I'm very happy that I've had the number of people. I'm absolutely thrilled that I've had the number of people join me tonight that have, and every one of you that has joined me this evening is an absolute gem. I will say that. So I'm going to wrap it up there, because it will soon be my bedtime. It is 25 to midnight now. GMT. And thank you absolutely to everyone who's joined me throughout this live stream. It's been absolute fun, absolute joy. It's wonderful to hear everyone, everyone's point of view, you know, the encouragement I receive. You're all amazing people, and even if you're watching this back on YouTube on my channel, thank you so much for being there. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for leaving likes. You know, thank you for subscribing. If you choose to subscribe, please do. You know, I welcome everybody. I absolutely welcome everybody. You know, you know, if you like storytelling especially, please do consider subscribing, because, you know, I have a story to share and I want to share it with you, and the more people I can share it with, the happier it will make me, because that's my passion in life, that's my mission in life, to entertain and create. Yes, cheerio, Prosman. Thank you so much for joining me. So yes, I am going to sign off, and I will see you in the next live stream. So thank you so much for joining me, and I am going to click end stream in 5. No, I'm going to do 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. Thank you for joining me, and have a very good night, or whatever time of day it is where you are. Thank you, and goodbye for the moment. See you at the next live stream. Thank you again.